Now I'm going to talk to you about sort of the insanity I see all the time with women. So, when I was staying at the Bax Navigation Center before I got placed here, I was there for quite some time. It was awful. But the women were amazing, right? There was just some amazing women there. And one of them on my right, whose bed was on my right side, I called my wife. Not because we were having gay sex, but because she's just a very caretaking, she embraces that wife role. She's thoughtful and kind and caretaking and wonderful, and I loved her. Her name was Erin, and I just loved her. And then on my other side, I had for a while a bedmate there, this incredibly bright woman, educated and funny as fuck. She was just hilarious. And while the when the war broke out, when Hamas horrifically attacked and raped all these Israeli women, killed them, etc. She was very curious about it, and I explained to her, because I'm an expert on that kind of thing, what had happened, how the war began and what it was really about, and etc. etc. And she went back to her family, I guess, and she was passing on that information, which I think is great. And then she came back and she told me, she's like, "Oh, my family loved, all that insight that you gave me about this." And then she said to me, which I like to hear, that was nice. But then she said to me, "Jody, you would be a great leader of women. You're really like a great communicator. You'd be great at leading women if you could just stop talking about that patriarchy stuff, that horrible stuff that happened to you, and etc." And then she left, like she ran out the door, and I really didn't even, and I think that was like it, like she got, whatever. I didn't get to see her again, but like I've been having a conversation with her ever since, because it drives me crazy. Like, I am that leader of women. I've worked for that. I earned it, right? I've been founding women's groups, part of women's groups. I ran a theater company for 8 years called the Drama Mamas that was all about producing plays about women's lives, written by women and about women's lives, right? I am that leader of women. I founded a group that brought women into tech, and it was very effective and impactful. And that's why I got death threats, and maybe that's part of the reason this happened to me. I don't know. I am that leader of women. And as that leader of women, I can say we're fucked right now. Because this is what's happening to us. What's happening to me. We're fucked. And I'm sorry if you don't want to hear it, because she just didn't want to hear that horrible stuff. And that's what I see over and over again. Like, I tell women this, they say they believe me, and then they kind of lose their minds because they just don't want to cope. No. That's not going to keep you safe, your daughter safe, your mother safe. Pretending it isn't happening. I am that leader of women. That's why this happened to me. So I'm going to talk to you about the Jews, right? In the first Holocaust. In the first Holocaust, they complied much of the time with their instructions, trying to save their lives, I guess. They were told to sew Stars of David to their clothes to identify them as Jews, and they did. Then they were told to pack their bags and go to the train stations, and they did. They went to train stations, and when they arrived at the camps, they were murdered. The lucky ones, really, because it was so bad, especially for the women, right? They were raped, they were enslaved, tortured. Complying didn't get you anything. It was only much closer kind of to the end of the war when the Jews finally figured out, holy shit, this is not going to complying doesn't get us anywhere. It's like the easiest thing initially, but it only is going to kill us. And so they were all packed into what's called the Warsaw Ghetto, the ghetto in Warsaw. And it started off at, I guess, 400,000 Jews, and then they were killed. They were taken to the camps and murdered, and it got down, and especially the kids. And the population of the Warsaw Ghetto of Jews shrank and shrank and shrank. And finally, they realized, like, why are we complying with this? Why don't we just fight to the death? We're going to die anyway. And that's when they fought. The Warsaw Ghetto was this tiny little group of Jews, and they fought the Nazis from this ghetto, and it lasted, a long time. It lasted longer than the Polish fight against the Nazis' invasion. This Warsaw Ghetto, fighting for their lives, these Jews. And that's the right. Unfortunately, I know it's awful, but that's the only right response. You die, and you watch your children die fighting. That's how you respond to a Holocaust. And so, ladies, I am so sorry that there is no easy life for us. In fact, I don't even think life's worth living for a woman in the patriarchy, because everything is stolen from us, especially if you're gifted and talented. Everything is being stolen from us, and we are not being reciprocated with. We are not being recompensed. We are just being stolen from, and then we die. That's stupid. It's stupid to just let that happen. If you're gonna die, and we're all gonna die fighting. Right? Die fighting. So please, let go of the insanity, trying to just shut your eyes to what's actually happening to us. That's not going to keep you safe. We're never safe in the patriarchy, and that's intentional. Men keep us endangered to keep us serving them. Fight. At least you die fighting, right? At least your children can say, we died fighting. My mom died fighting for me, for my life. I've been in so much danger. I don't know how I'm still alive, quite frankly. But I will not be someone's slave. I will not be stolen from and then silenced. That's insane. Because no matter what, we're going to be killed and stolen from, our lives destroyed. So fight. Stop pretending like it's not happening just because you just don't want to see it.